After you downloaded all those motions, let's import the T-pose one. And what was special about the T-pose one, it included the skin. The skin is the mesh that goes around the skeleton. Let me x-ray this. Shading, x-ray joints. Now we can see the joints inside. If you feel your joint system looks a little puffy, has to deal with the scale of the character, we can fix that by going under Windows, Setting Preferences, going under Display, click on Kinematics, Joint Size. Instead of 1, you could just make it smaller. I'm at 0.4, clicking on Save. The size of the joints don't matter. Spacing does, and they're spaced within the character. Let me increase the timeline to 200 frames. Go under Windows, Animation Editors, select Time Editor. Select your character in the scene, and that's just clicking here in the outliner. Click this first or second button to import your character onto the timeline. We did it, but what do? We imported the T-pose for this character onto the timeline, but we don't want the T-pose. The T-pose is there for other steps that we might need. I want to use the walk. Now that this character is out on this timeline in the time editor, I'm going to drag this motion clip and release it on top of the time editor. Then I'll drag this line of walking, and then I'll click on this T-pose and press the delete key to remove it. There's your character walking. If I zoom out back to 300 frames, this walk cycle ends here. What's cool about the time editor allows you to repeat motion. To make this character continuously walk, click on this icon right here and just drag the end, zooming out by using the wheelie mouse. You also can press down the Option key and the right mouse button and drag it to zoom out. And by dragging that, you can see the repeat loops. Original, first repeat, second, third, etc. When I drag this playback head, you can see in the scene the character continues to walk. If I want this character to walk on a line or walk forward, I can make a box. If you remember the motion path video, we can take this character, parent it to the box, and take this box and parent it to a spline, and then this character would walk along the spline. I'll position this box beneath the character. I'll click on the hip, shift click on this box, and then press the P key for parenting. Now wherever the box moves, so will this character, and this character knows how to walk. To make this character walk forward, I'll animate the box. Go to frame 0, S key, and by frame 90, I dragged that box forward, S key, and here's our character walking forward. For more complex animation, let me delete these 2 keys. Let's say you had this interesting obstacle course for this character to walk on. Create, Curve Tool, EP Curve Tool. I want my character to walk along this path. Select the box, just right here. After you select the box, shift click on the path, going under Animation, Constrain, Motion Paths, Attach to Motion Path. Our character will walk backwards, that's okay, we'll fix it in a moment. Or sideways, we could adjust that. That's just the motion path. Control A, going to Motion Path 1, and select a different front axis. You can go through them, X, Y, Z, and the Z one was correct. Now our character walks along that path until it runs out of animation, then just slides along that path. To continue the animation after frame 180, Open up the animation editor's time editor, zoom out, which is the Alt and right mouse button, to pan, Alt and middle mouse button. Select this tool again and just drag it outward. Now our character continues to walk. Now I can scrub the timeline and our character continues to walk even when it hits the end. I want my character to stop walking right there. Just drag this backwards. What if at the end of walking, I want my character to just be idle? Going back to that second animation that we downloaded, the idle, with the time editor open, just drag idle to the timeline. Move idle. Let me increase my timeline again to 300. And a little further, 400. And my choices are to have idle on its own layer right above it. So as it walks, then it's going to switch to this idle looking. Why am I walking like this? You can see the transition's a little rough because we have overlapping animations. And even when the two animations, one ends, the other one begins, it's kind of the snap into position. Ready? Be idle. To fix that, drag this motion onto the same path. And watch this. This is very cool. Just take the clip and just push it into the previous clip. And this creates this blending zone. So now the character will stop walking and transition into the idle pose. Isn't that cool? You can drag this away to lessen the transition. To increase the transition, just push it a little further. And to remove it totally, just move it off onto one side.